Hello, welcome to the Lioness Grotto, a space for women founders and entrepreneurs to share their journey, be encouraged, know you're not alone, you are limitless. My name is Anna Njoroge, founder and CEO Wydera Beauty, and today I want to talk about cash flow, the lifeline of all our businesses. How do you make sure you have adequate cash to sustain your business and to grow your business? The bane of our existence. I know you guys know this. So grab a glass of water, cup of coffee, cup of tea, and let's chat. I don't know if anyone ever told you about this before you went into this business or into any business. The cash flow was probably going to be the one thing that gave you sleepless nights or woke up in a cold sweat at 2 a.m. in the morning because you don't have enough cash. And we need it to run our businesses. So how do we make it a little bit easier on ourselves? Cash is literally what we need. They even say money makes the world go round, and money makes your business exist and grow. But we know it is one of the most difficult things to keep track of: cash flow management. There's never adequate cash, and right now it is even harder. We are all struggling to keep businesses going. It is one of the reasons most businesses fail. About 85% of businesses fail because they don't have adequate cash. Oh, by the way, I'm very analog. I'm digital and analog at the same time. So if you see me looking down, I got my notes in my beautiful notebook. So let's talk about it. One is stay on top of your collections. Be very clear. If you use other suppliers to, like we are in the beauty business, we sell product and we sell through other retailers, be very clear about what your payment terms are. Cash in advance, net 15, meaning you get paid in 15 days, net 30, in 30 days, next 60. You have to negotiate these terms in advance. Even when you're in a service business, you have to be very clear. Do you need a deposit? When is it to be paid? And stick to those terms. If you are not collecting at the time you're supposed to collect, stop sending good money after bad money. So if you're not getting paid, stop sending merchandise, stop sending goods. Stay on top of your collections. Get a real payment date. When are your suppliers going to pay you? Because this is actually what helps you plan your cash flow. Be true to yourself. There's no point in keeping giving someone services or goods that's actually not paying you. So stop. You'd rather have a few customers that are paying you instead of having a slew or a boatload of them. You're exhausting yourself giving the service or giving the good that you may actually never get paid. Stay on top of your collections. Have no shame. Call. Be courteous, because most of the time we want to keep them in our business, but negotiate in advance your terms, and when they're not being met, you can stop giving the services or giving the goods, because you are not in the business of charity. Set payment arrangements if you can, and if they're not met, it's okay to say no and move on. Number two, negotiate with your suppliers. So for us, we're a small business, a manufacturing small businesses. Our MOQ is high, meaning minimum order quantities for our raw materials. So we buy in bulk. Sometimes our warehouse is filled with raw materials, but we literally have no cash for operations. We have no working capital. So I have learned to have no shame and ask my suppliers for better terms. Can we get in bulk, or let's say a good example is the printing of labels. They will go do a run because it doesn't make sense for them to do a very small run. So they'll do the big run, but they will allow me to pick up as I need. Huge businesses. I have zero shame. Have no shame in business. Negotiate with your suppliers. Ask for assistance. Ask for help. Do not be afraid. The worst someone can say is no, and you're not any worse off. But if they said yes, it is a break to your cash flow. Such a huge break. I can't even tell you what that means, because it means instead of buying those 10,000 items, because I asked and I was able to negotiate and can pay 1,000 labels or 1,000 whatever containers at a time, it leaves my cash flow free for me to keep operating and doing bigger things and even growing my business by introducing more product line. But if I have cash tied up in raw materials, I can't grow. That's number 2. Number 3, looking at my notes. Have cash flow forecast. Know what you need. Meaning, this is what a cash flow forecast is. If you have an accountant or someone who manages your finances, or even you, by the way, I can teach you how to do this very easily. And this is a forecast or a projection of what you need to spend for the month and what is coming in, so you know where you have gaps. So, it's April. We know we have all these invoices that are due. I have talked to our suppliers, or our finance person has, and sometimes I have to step in because they're not getting anywhere. And I can sweet talk, or I can negotiate. I am good at building relationships. And I ask them, when can we expect payment and how much? And based on that, we can project. We need this many bottles, this many labels, we need this fragrance, we are running out, everything we need. And that also means keeping on top of your inventory, so you know what you need. If you're a service business, same thing. You know what your rent is, and so do we. You know what your employees are due, you know what services are, you know what power bills you need to pay, internet, everything. Put it together, and then you know what you need to collect to cover that. You can do a monthly cash flow forecast. It's very advisable. We actually do one that is weekly. That's how important it is for us. We keep track of our cash flow on a weekly basis, because some of these are imports for raw materials, and we need to order in advance. So we need to know on a weekly basis, what's the cash coming in, what's the cash going out, when are we going to order, where are our import, where is our raw materials, both raw materials, meaning what we need into production, what do we have in the finished good sector, and just keep it moving. So please keep track of your cash flow forecast. Very important. It's actually not that difficult to do. If you need help, please reach out to me and I can help you create one, because it is life-saving. 3, knowing your cash flow needs. Actually, it is 4. You need to know your cash flow needs. You need to sit down every month, look at what you need. What's my rent? What's my security bill? What's my salary bill? All of that. What raw materials do I have? What's the FX currency? And actually, based on in Kenya right now, because it's all over the place. It's up, by the way. It hasn't been down. It's just up, 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 which is killing us at the moment. It's literally, if you're in the production business or you have to import anything, it is killing our cash flow because it is so high at the moment. And the other thing we are suffering is everybody's late in payment. So please, if you owe any small business money, please pay us. We need the money to keep operating. So that's what we need to do. Know your cash flow needs, so you know well in advance where you have shortfalls and how to cover them. Whether you need to go borrow, that's a loan you need to take, or ask a friend for a loan, or how you need to cover the dip. Do don't wait until you're in that space and your business is struggling and you have no stock. You can't give your client what they need if you're in a service business. Don't wait until then, because then you actually end up losing revenue. Know your cash flow needs. Every month, I need this, actually project it. I like a projection for 12 months, and then every month we adjust it, and on a weekly basis we actually keep adjusting to see where we can cut something, if we don't need it, if we're struggling, what we can delay. Know your cash flow needs at all times. That's how you will survive, especially in these economic times. The other thing is, have an emergency fund. Have somewhere you can draw cash quickly when you need it. I have several, and I've talked about this. This will be another conversation we'll have about funding, about how you put money in your business. And for me, I have two ways. One, I have managed to actually get a loan from NCBA Bank, which is a stock loan, meaning if I need stock, raw materials, urgently, and I don't have the cash at the moment, I can draw on it. But that also comes with certain compliance and regulatory things you have to meet to ensure that you're actually fundable to get that loan. But it is important to get that, because right now, at any moment, I know I can draw on that if we have need for raw materials when you don't have the cash flow available. The other thing I do is, and I tell people this, if you're close to me, I probably told you this, I consult. I have a skill I can sell. I came from a finance background, meaning my services are usually needed by other businesses. So I provide these services for money that gives me personal money that I can actually put into my business when it is dire and the business needs money now or we stop operating. And those is where I draw. I have a skill that I can sell. So if you have a skill that you can sell, continue doing it. Consult, find clients. That's what I do. At any given moment, I'll probably have a client or two that I'm doing financial services for. It probably sometimes is a little bit difficult because it means no sleep. I'm consulting for clients in the US sometimes, which means I'm up at night, I'm working during the day, but it keeps my business moving. We keep bringing new products to market, and the reason we're able to do that is because we can draw cash from other places even when we haven't been paid. So having that emergency fund somewhere else that you can draw funds for your business from, mate has come. Mate means saliva. And it helps. I can't insist on how important this is. And sometimes it's been friends who have come to my rescue. I have friends I can reach out to and say, hey, I need this much. Will you give me this until this month and I'll pay back? And this is what you have to remember when you get funds from friends. Make sure you pay back. And if you can't pay back at the moment you ask, please reach out in advance and tell them you're delaying, because they're the same ones you may need to draw from for that emergency fund. So this is what to remember. We all need cash for our businesses to survive and to grow. You can't escape it. Cash is king, unfortunately. So, things you need to remember. 1, be on top of your collections. Always. Be shameless, be courteous, be nice, build relationship. By the way, relationships help you collect. Don't accept arbitrarily answers that, oh, I don't know. Don't accept no phone calls. I am actually very big on pick up the call, tell me you can't do it in a month so I can plan myself. Don't dodge calls. 2, negotiate with your suppliers. Don't dodge your supplier calls either, because you need them again. Be honest. Tell them, I don't have the money right now. In a month, I can pay this much. In 2 weeks, I can pay this much. Be honest, be proactive. Don't lie, don't dodge. 3, Know your cash needs. Know what you need in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months, because that helps you just plan, negotiate. Do I need this really this month? Can I delay it until the next month? Do we even really need this expense? Because you can't manage your cash flow until you know where you're spending your money. And cash flow forecast. And I said it, if you don't know how to do one, come, we'll do one together. I'll teach you how. Have your finance people. That helps you project for a year. This is where I'm going to need money. This is where my collections are. This is what I need in raw materials. This is my, employees, the salary, whatever taxes, everything. Plan it out. And even with the tax regulation, please call them. They do negotiate, and you can set up payment arrangements. 4, if you can have an emergency fund, please go ahead and have one. If you have prior skills, you are in employment, something you consult, a skill you can sell, can be a virtual assistant, go do that. You're a finance person, you're a lawyer, whatever it is you did previously that you know you're good at, and it's a service you can offer that can pay you, offer that service, because that gives you cash for expansion and for those times that, oh my God, I need this, the business needs this, we are being asked for this, we're going to close down and we have no cash. You can draw from that and continue moving and continue growing. So be limitless. You're not alone. We're in this together. Girl, you got this, because we're going to do it together, helping each other, uplifting each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Let's continue having these conversations. Be limitless.